It's Health Tidbits with Dr. Kohli. I am Jenny D, and I'm always fascinated when things come up in the news, and having a friend that's a doctor is really nice because some of the things that I think we get freaked out about, it's nice to know from a doctor's perspective what is and what isn't. So Dr. Kohli, of course, 9 News. You can see her at Cherry Creek Heart. But today we're talking about food dyes. So, I mean, we kind of grew up with these, but are food dyes dangerous? Like, What's your reaction to the initiative to take them out of food?
Actually, I'm really thrilled with this initiative, and I think it's a long time overdue coming. I know in Europe, many of the food dyes that we use here have actually been banned, and they're not being used. And most of the food dyes, the colorings that we have in our food, are petroleum-based. Now, the science isn't definitive on this, so we haven't proven harm from those food dyes. But just because there's no evidence that they don't harm doesn't mean they don't harm. And in fact, in some studies, they have been linked to more hyperreactivity in young children, certainly carcinogenic risk in some food dyes as well, and then allergies or sensitivities too. So the idea that we need to step back and think more about natural food, less about processed food, I'm really a fan of it, and I think it's time to just revisit.
Well, like you said, if it's not causing harm, but is it really adding a benefit either? Just because it's currently blue doesn't mean it's always great, or red, I think is the really bad one right now. But why not just go to all no colors?
So that's begs the question of if it's adding a benefit. So it's really fascinating the way that our brain works, but the color of food actually changes the way that it tastes to us. So I went to this restaurant once in San Francisco where we were dining in the dark. It was pitch black. And the idea there was to take away your sense of sight, to heighten your taste. But what happens if we look at a Cheeto that's bright red colored, we automatically start to think about a spicy food. Or we look at Cheez-It that's yellow, we think about a cheesy flavor. As opposed to one that just looks white or colorless, we may not have the same sort of taste experience. So certainly our sensations can be altered if food is not colored. And of course, from a marketing perspective as well, you know, white food is less appealing than brightly colored food, especially for our kids, for example, breakfast cereals and such. So there is some initiative to say, okay, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. We don't necessarily need to go colorless on our food, but how about reaching for some natural alternatives?
I like that. So what is an alternative to like our artificial dyes and stuff like that?
So that would be using sort of natural, either vegetable-based or spice-based, so like turmeric or radishes or beets, or using those to color. But here's the challenge with those. They have their own flavor and taste, right?
Yep.
So if you're talking about putting beets into your Cheetos, that may change the way that your Cheetos actually taste, right?
That does not sound really good, but okay.
And then also the way we manufacture those natural colors, like they require obviously, you know, the supply, the produce, and there can be variability in the manufacturing. So one Cheeto can taste a little bit different from another Cheeto, and then they're sensitive to light and oxygen. So if you open up a bag of chips or Cheetos or Doritos or whatever and have them sitting there, they may end up tasting different a week later than they did when you first opened them. So these are all considerations to think about is, do we really want to start putting natural coloring? And maybe if we do a good job of putting natural coloring, the answer is yes. But I'm not sure, which would you prefer? Colorless, natural coloring, or artificial?
I don't know. I'm a taste girl.
Are you?
But I don't know. Now I'm like wondering if it would taste the same. I don't know. Like, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like for me, is it going to cost extra then if they start having to do these alternatives, which, you know, obviously you said more produce and things. Is it going to cost more?
Possibly. And that's
it's already so expensive.
Right. That's a concern with inflation and everything. I mean, our grocery bill it's double what it used to be a while ago. And so it's going to be something that we have to keep in mind if all of our food, which a lot of our food has these artificial coloring, starts to go with natural, will the cost of research, development, you know, using these natural alternatives actually drive up the prices?
And when do you think we can expect to see some of these like hit shelves?
By the end of this year.
Oh, wow.
Actually,
Okay.
yeah, so PepsiCo has already started working on this initiative, and they said that I think Doritos, by the end of the year, don't quote me on that, but the Doritos should be available in the kind of naturally flavored, and they're working on some of their other products as well, the Tostitos and the Cheetos.
But wasn't it like Clear Pepsi? Remember Clear Pepsi back in the day? That was that kind of this? Oh, there was like
Was
this,
it good?
I mean, it just didn't have the same taste, but like it was
because of the
color.
clear.
Yeah, I would assume so because they took out whatever that caramel color was.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a fan of getting rid of the artificial dyes just because, like I said, we don't know that they cause harm, but the absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence.
Yes.
Right? So we don't know what they do, especially other countries have banned it. But I think coming up with a nice, healthy alternative is a really exciting prospect.
I like it. So what ingredients shoppers should be looking for, like on the labels and things like that? What should they be trying to shop for healthy?
So anything that says red number, yellow number, blue number, don't buy it because that has those petroleum-based dyes. Sometimes they'll hide it and just say artificial color added or color added, like in some of the kids' cereal boxes and stuff. So just make sure you look at the front and the back when you're looking to see. I usually say it should have less than 5 ingredients. It should have ingredients you recognize you would use at home. If it has stuff you don't recognize, you don't know their chemical names, try to steer clear of it. And then again, try to shop the outside of the store, not the middle of the store, where all the packaged food is, because that food is more likely to be processed.
All right. Some things to think about for sure. I really hope it doesn't mess with my Doritos and the Cheetos, but those are a guilty pleasure, everything in moderation, but be looking at those labels a little bit more, I think. So thank you again, Dr. Kohli from 9 News and Cherry Creek Heart, always accepting patients.